Hello friends, welcome to BSc Agriculture. If you are coming to my channel for this first time, then don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Your subscription and likes are always motivating us. So let's move to the video. In this video, we are going to see about fundamentals of biochemistry. I am going to teach you Unit 4, and the lecture topic is I am going to cover transamination, elimination, and decarboxylation of amino acids. And the second lecture unit is ammonia assimilating enzymes, and the third one is metabolic interrelationship in our fourth unit. So I am going to cover with 3 lectures. So first of all, I am going to give you a small intro as well as amino acid metabolisms. So in introduction, we are going to see about the amino acid metabolism, where the protein metabolism is the key physiological process in all forms of life form, and the proteins are converted to amino acids and then catalyzed in the human body, as well as the complete hydrolysis of polypeptide bonds require a mixture of peptides. So because individual peptides do not need all peptide bonds in the protein, so both exopeptides as well as endopeptides are required for the complete conversion of protein into amino acids are required in our living cells. So normally human being about 90% of energy requirement is met by the oxidation of carbohydrates and fats. Only remaining 10% is mainly done from the oxidation of carbon skeletons of amino acids from the proteins in our living cells. As well as the amino acid not only functions as energy metabolites, they are also used to be act as a precursors of many psychologically important compounds like bioactive amines, small peptides, and nucleotides and nucleotide coenzymes, which were all present in our DNA samples. So while going to amino acid metabolism, there are around 20 common protein amino acids. We have already told them. And where the terms of carbon skeletonization and amino acid require unique degradation pathway, it's how the process occurs. And the degradation of carbon skeletons of 20 amino acids converge to 7 metabolic intermediates. So the 7 metabolic intermediates are pyruvate acetyl CoA, acetoacyl CoA, alpha ketoglutarate, succinyl CoA, fumarate, and oxoacetate. So these are the 7 metabolic intermediates. Then first we are going to see about the nitrogen and carbon goes separate ways. So the intercellular protein, where the amino acid is divided into nitrogen forms as well as carbon skeletons. So the nitrogen form used to go for the bisons of amino acid nucleotides and biological amines. So they used to go for the directly urea cycle, and in carbon skeletons they are converted by alpha keto acid and go for citric acid cycle, where CO2, H2O and ATP are produced, and from citric acid the oxaloacetate is formed, and finally glucose. So where the process of gluconeogenesis is occur. So in between that asparagine, succinate and shunt of citrus cycle was also done, where the conversion between the final products of citric acid cycle and the urea cycle as the intermediate compound is done. So it's a triangular wave, 3-point wave process. After that, gluconogenic and alpha ketogenic amino acids. So the pyruvate and alpha ketogenic, succinyl CoA, fumarate and oxalates are the used to serve as a precursors of glucose synthesis through gluconeogenesis process. They also give rise to the intermediates termed as gluconogen in this cycle, as they give the yield to acetyl CoA and ammonium acetoacetate, where so they are termed as ketogenic since the body compound used to synthesize ketone bodies. So some amino acids like both glucogen and ketogenic were used to compose of phenylalanine, trypsin, tryptophan and threonine other compounds. So after that we are going to see the metabolites of glucogenic amino acids. So they used to metabolize by the enzymes of alpha ketoglutarate, pyruvate, oxalate, fumarate and or succinic acid. So the enzymes used to the amino acids which are required through the metabolites or I have listed here. So these are the 18 metabolites which are obtained from glucogenic amino acids, and the ketogenic amino acid used to contain 7 amino acids, where the metabolized by acetyl CoA or acetoacetate compounds. So these are the 7 ketogenic amino acids. So after that we are going to see about catabolism of amino acids, where the important reaction are commonly employed in the breakdown of an amino acid, which is a removal of an alpha amino group. So the product amino is excreted after conversion to urea as well as the other products in the process. The carbon skeleton is degraded to CO2 releasing energy, and the important reaction involved is deamination of amino acid by the three processes which is our lecture topic. So transamination, oxidative deamination as well as non-oxidative deamination. So the first one we are going to see is transamination, where the most of the amino acids are deaminated by transamination process, which is catalyzed by the enzymes aminotransferase as well as transaminase, and the alpha amine group which is present in the amino acid is transferred to alpha keto acid to yield a new acid as well as the alpha keto acid, the original amino acid. They used to have a predominant group where the alpha ketoglutarate is a group acceptor, and glutamine amino acid is mainly transferred to the oxaloacetate in the second transamination reaction, which yields aspartate in this process. So it's how the transamination reaction occurs, where the alpha amino acid is converted to alpha keto acid 1 as and the alpha amino acid 2, where is from the transaminase process, where the reaction is crisscross usually occur. So the transamination is also used to give ketoglutarate as well as L-glutamine, and the aminotransferase where the L-amino acid is converted to alpha keto acid in this process with the presence of PLP. So with a simple understanding without the pictures, so the glutamate and pyruvate are used to combine, and the transamination process of alpha ketoglutarate plus alanine are formed, and glutamate plus oxaloacetate used to form alpha ketoglutarate plus aspartate in the presence of aspartate transferase AST and alanine transferase AST. It was the total transamination process. So the role of PLP in transamination process is we must need to know that the transferase reaction mainly occur in two stages. So the pyroxyl phosphate, which is covalently attached to aminotransferase via skiff base linkage, are formed between aldehyde groups of pyroxyl phosphate and the epsilon amino group of lysine, which is reduced by the enzyme. So the pyroxyl phosphate is converted to pyridoxyamine phosphate. In the second stage, the amino group attached to pyridoxamine phosphate is transferred to the different keto acids to yield a new amino acid, and the release of pyridoxal phosphate is occur. So the transamination, it's how the role of PLP is used to occur. So in the box section you have seen that the box section is cut down by the PLP enzyme in this process, where it is used to interchange with the presence of tautomycin. We can able to tell that, which is mainly done by the action of PLP in this compound. So after that we are going to see about the overview of transamination. So the amino acid ingested proteins, which is a cellular protein or amino acid from cell occur, and which it goes to the liver and used to form alpha ketoglutarate or glutamate in the presence, and or else in the alanine from the muscle, where it goes with the NH4 used to form glutamate, and finally the glutamine is also or else used to combine with NH4 with the release and used to form glutamate in this process. It's how the overview transformation of occur. And the oxidative deamination, which is our next topic. So the transformation does not result in the net deamination. Since one amino acid is replaced by the another amino acid, it's how the oxidative occur. So the two non-specific amino acid oxidase, namely L-amino acid and D-amino acid oxidase, are the catalyze, which is the oxidation of L-dextro and dextro amino acid utilizing FAD as their coenzyme is occurred. So an example for oxidative amino acid, the amino acid plus FAD plus H2 gives alpha keto acid plus NH3 plus FADH2. So while seeing in words, the glutamate is oxidatively deaminated in the mitochondrion by glutamate dehydrogenase, and NAD plus and NADP plus functions as their coenzyme. So they are mainly oxidized through the with the occurrence of hydride ion from glutamate carbon. So the NADP to form immunoglutarate, which is then hydrolyzed to alpha ketoglutarate and the ammonia. So the ammonia produced then is converted to urea in mammals. So it's how the oxidative deamination occurs, where the glutamate is converted to alpha ketoglutarate with the release of amine group, where the glutamate dehydrogenase is an enzyme and NADP plus and is converted to NADPH with the release of H plus ion in this process. So after that, the third one, which is non-oxidative deamination, where the amino acid groups such as serine and histone are deaminated non-oxidatively. So the serine dehydrate is an enzyme which is responsible for this reaction with the release of amine group, as well as the water in hydration and dehydration processes also occur. First, the serine is converted to amino acid and it is then transformed to pyrite in this compound. So the decarboxylation is the product of decarboxylation is mainly rise due to psychological active amines. So the amino acid decarboxylates are pyroxidol phosphate, mainly the dependent enzyme. So the psychologically active amines are epimerine, non-epimerine, dopamine, serotonin, and alpha, butyric, and histamine, which are mainly found through the decarboxylation of the corresponding precursor amino acids. So the decarboxylation process, where the glutamate is converted to gamma aminobutyric GABA. So the glutamate decarboxylase is the enzyme which is responsible for this reaction. So the GABA is an important inhibitor in the neurotransmitter which is present in our brain, and the other one is serotonin deamination. So where the tryptophan is converted to 5-hydroxytryptophan by the presence of tryptophan hydrolase, and the decarboxylic reaction occurs where the CO2 is released and the final product of 5-hydroxytryptophan serotonin is occurred, and it's how the deamination of ketocolamine biosynthesis, and where the tryptosine is used to be converted to dihydroxyphenylalanine, and the dopamine is finally converted by dopa decarboxylase CO2, and dopamine hydrolase used to act on that and used to form epimerine, so which are all nothing but our neurotransmitters present in our brain, and the metabolic interrelationship we are going to see. So as one, first we are going to see that the raw materials we are taken are the first one in the left hand side corner is protein, and in center which is CO2, and the third one is lipids. So all the one are said to be converted and enters into citric acid cycle after for every reaction occurs. So and the final product is the release of ATP and the electron transport chains with the release of H2O is our final product. It's how the metabolic interrelationship occurs. So in clear you can able to see it in the lecture notes which I have given in the description. If you have any doubts, please comment in the section, and if you like the video, like it and share it with your friends, and subscribe to BSc Agriculture and hit the bell icon to get regular updates. So thanks for watching the video. Thank you. I will catch you in the next videos.